Alright guys, here with the patch notes for the 31.0.3 that came out this last patch. This is probably going to be the last patch before Season 9 starts, so probably going to have this at least for another 2.5-ish weeks, depending on when they actually push out Season 9. So let's get into it, see what the major changes are, and go from there. Let's first look at the changes, then I'll make a couple predictions if I think anything's going to be big stuff. So, dev comments well met. As this season comes to a close, we primarily focus on making adjustments to cards that we'll be leaving at the end of the season. Specifically, we wanted to raise the power of Naga and Beast while lowering the power of Quillbores. We also removed, adjusted some frustrating, unpopular trinkets. No hero changes. We expect the meta to change significantly in 31.2. I'm assuming that's going to be the start of Season 9. And we'll better adjust them when trinkets are rotated out. I think this is the first time that they've announced trinkets will be rotating out, which is kind of interesting. We are expecting to make some hero adjustments in the first major pack after the new season. We'll see you in the tavern. All right. So the first change is Critter Wrangler. It used to be a 2/5 that gave minions 2/2. Now it's a 3/6 that gives 3/3. So this is an overall buff for Critter Wrangler, where both its stats are increased and the stats that it gives is going to be increased. I actually really like Critter Wrangler. Ideally, when you play it, you're taking a bunch of like the single target spellcrafts, where you can also float with like Quillbores if you have a lot of gem generation. If you think about it, this is essentially like a 3/3 buff to your blood gems if you play it. So this is a really strong buff. I think Critter Wrangler, like you kind of took it a couple times as a mid game like stabilize, and this will let you keep it potentially an extra turn or two on your board. Soft-hearted Siren. It used to be a 3/6, now it's a 3/10, so it just has more stats. With this, if you played on a 4, if you think about it, most of the 4 drops are doing like about 5 or 6 attack. So what's kind of key about this is it almost guarantees that you're going to get 2, maybe a third spellcraft by just playing it on your board, where before you were really only getting 1, maybe 2 procs. And then this is also good, just it helps you get going if you're doing one of the, like the conductor Quillbore strats with the Siren, because Siren's kind of your go-to spellcraft for that comp. Living Azurite was a tier 4 6/6. Now it's a tier 3 4/4. Interesting to see if they change other elemental stuff, because I could see doing like some type of like Azurite comp now being a lot easier. I don't think you would ever like if you have Lover and Azurite together on tier 3, like that's broken, right? Let me just do a quick check. Okay, they did move Lover. So let's not make predictions for that comp, but it's kind of interesting that they moved this here. I think the big bait here, don't take this with your Galakrond. Like, this is a bait. um, Iridescent Skyblazer. It was a 4/8, now it's a 3/7, so they took 1/1 stats away, but now it gives 2/1 permanently rather than 1/1, which is really good with like a lot of the what like I mean it's just like an extra 50% buff. Like before it was giving 2 stats, now it's giving 3 stats, which is really good. Um and it's really good with like Trigger, because Trigger ends up having a lot of health and not enough attack for that health. So this might help that like self-damage beast become a little bit better. Moon Bacon Jazzer was a tier 2 2/3. Now it's a tier 3 2/5. Kind of interesting with this. It's like almost a borderline. It's helpful for gold boards, because one of the like mistakes sometimes you make is taking like a bobblehead and then you can never find Jazzer. But assuming that's not the thing. It's definitely a little bit weaker not having like gem generation early. It'll be interesting to see if they move a Quillboard down to 2. Because right now you have like profit of the boar and not a lot of good ways to actually proc profit of the boar anymore. Um, Chameleon, it's a golden change only where, okay, so now when it's a golden one, it can make a minion golden with its copy. Honestly, I don't see that being too important. Lover, we already talked about, it's now a 4 5 6 rather than a 3 4 5. Um, Honestly, like this is a really, in my opinion, really hurts Lover. Lover was being really consistent in a lot of the Menagerie like Nala comps, and what was really good, especially if you were on someone like Galakrond, you could get like a Nala on Tavern tier like 3 and roll Lover, and just staying on Tavern tier 3, all of your spells are a lot cheaper. So something like Nala gets a lot more procs that way. Where forcing yourself to go up to 4 makes this a lot harder. So I think this is actually a hit on like Nala and Menagerie comps. Uh, Furious. It used to be Battlecry, discover them and you have one copy of. For now, it's when you still. Okay, so the main thing is they're just trying to stop infinite loops with the. I forget the name of the dragon that procs a Battlecry, but that's what they're trying to do here. Is they're trying to just stop infinite loops from going on. Honestly, I don't think I've ever hit that. You might hit it like once in 100 games, if that. But sometimes you proc off. And Felbat. It used to be a 9/6 consume other minions. Now it's a 9/5, but it also gets a consume off. So this is definitely a buff to Felbat. Um, yeah, like Felbat Portrait's gonna be broken again, I think, because like they ended up like killing Felbat Portrait by making it so it couldn't eat other minions, and now it can. So, Felbat Portrait I see being good. Lesser Trinket updates, Belcher Portrait. It goes from a 3/3 to a 4/4 buff. Nothing crazy there, but it makes it a little bit better to take. Kaboombot Portrait goes from deal 8 damage to deal 10. Honestly, no one was hitting Kaboombot like comps anymore, just because there's too many stats in the game. But that helps stabilize a little bit better. I still think like you can take Kaboombot Portrait and try to aggressively level if you have some type of either way to, if you have a way to like proc Kaboombot's effect twice, I think it's okay to take. Now that can be either you have two Kaboombots or you have like a McCall or something like that. Dollar on Cheese Wheel. It was 0 gold and you had to refresh 5 times. Now it's 1 gold, you refresh 4. So your first refresh is essentially like the same. Like if you think of the refreshes as 1 gold. So it was 4 and now it costs 1. So like on spending 5 gold you get the value. Where before like you had to roll 5 times. The only thing this makes it is a little bit harder to like level up the turn you do it. But nothing too crazy there. Blingtron sunglasses, honestly I don't think anyone was really taking this too much. I think it's crazy that they made this more expensive. But I don't know, like it's a reasonable trinket index, but it's not like game changing. Model globe going from 1 to 0 gold. That's actually really interesting. So I used to have the mindset that the order was like um the tickets and then souvenir stand and then globe. And I wonder if this makes it so globe's a little bit more on par with souvenir stand for those like lesser trinkets to put off value, but nothing crazy there. Like it's just makes it so it's a little bit easier to take it and level up and stabilize for like one more gold. Rewinder portrait going from 4 gold to 3 gold. What's interesting about Rewinder trinket is you get two minions that like synergize with each other. So you're kind of like getting 3 gold from this now instead of only getting two. Now it does kind of like very much force you into a comp, and the comp that you're playing is like not the greatest, but I think this makes it so if you already have a Wrathweaver and a Rewinder, it makes it a little bit more reasonable to take that. Bobblehead. It used to be Tavern no longer offers cards on tier 1 or tier 2. Now it's gain 2 gold. Oh, you can get to. Wait, so this is interesting. So on turn 6, you have 9 gold. You now go to 11 gold, and it normally costs. Oh god, how much does it cost to normally level if you're doing a level up? It normally costs, I think, 6 to level up there. Because it would be like so the normal thing that happens is you like get like one of the expensive like 5 gold trinkets and you can buy a minion and then you level up the next turn and the next turn you can level up by, so it would be on 10 gold it costs 7. So it costs 8 if I remember. On turn 6 I think if you're doing a standard level up it costs 8 to level up. So if you go on turn 6 9 to 11. So I think if I'm doing my math right, Bobblehead lets you level up and buy a minion, which is if that's the case, then I think Bobblehead's actually like really good. If it lets you roll level, you would probably or roll buy a minion. It's probably still good. Or no, that's even better, right? It depends. I'm trying to remember the math, but I think this is just I mean, obviously it's a really good buff. I think it makes Bobblehead a lot better. Bronze or bronze beard portrait. Get a brand and a random battle cry. So you guarantee get like some type of proc on the brand. That's pretty good. Honestly, like brand has kind of fallen off. A lot of the death rattle comps are just stronger right now, but this makes it so it's a little bit more consistent. Redeemer portrait, 8 gold, get another Redeemer. Tavern spells cost 1 less, but not less than 1. So this is a pretty big hit where you're getting the Nala for 3 gold less, but you can't get like a bunch of free spells, which is one of the ways to just go like really infinite with Nala is you get a bunch of like investment type spells and you can just get a ton of gold that way. Belcher Portrait, they're doing the same thing as a lesser. Now it costs it's a 14 instead of a 12, nothing crazy there. Dollar and Cheese Wheel went from 2 gold to 5 gold, so it's 3 gold and applies every 4. I actually think this might be a nerf because it's a lot more expensive, but maybe reasonable. And then Azurite Portrait going from 1 gold to 4 gold. That's kind of interesting because they made Azurite a 3. I guess, oh, because the whole thing is you're going to be able to get more Azurites this way, so I guess that kind of makes sense. Honestly, I still think Azurite Portrait's going to be bad. Twin Sky Lantern going to 1 gold is pretty interesting. I feel like Twin Sky Lantern has really fallen off since they like made it only summon 1 minion. So this is probably makes it a little bit fair. Promo Portrait, honestly, no one was taking it. It was like just like if you were already playing dragons and you literally had nothing else, you would take it. Um, and then pull updates. A gem staying removed, that's probably a good thing. Primal Fin Portrait, Shaman Prayer Beads, and Precious Pearl removed. Honestly, they made Primal Fin Portrait so expensive that it was really hard to take, but it was like you had Brand and you were able to go infinite or you didn't. Shaman Prayer Beads was just like a terrible one that you would just never take, so that makes sense to remove. Precious Pearl, interesting. Like whenever I saw it like rated with stats, the stats from H's replay made it seem good, but like no one would take it. Mainly because I think everyone fell into the trap of like if I don't get permanent value for my greater trinket, it's bad. Where like getting 30/30 is like a really good stabilize. And probably helps you get top 4 pretty easily. Like if you put that 30/30 on a cleave or on a magnetic and like just get a lot of value that way, like it just helps stabilize. Um, I have Sargeras. Can't be taken with souvenir stand. I guess that kind of makes sense. Taking the sticker removed from Mystery Cube. That kind of makes sense. Like taking the sticker is just like a completely broken. And that makes like Mystery Cube just have like an extreme pop off. So, anyways, what I think is gonna change with this, I think Azurite, honestly, I still don't think it's gonna be a good comp. I think the biggest change is gonna be the Critter Wrangler, making it so that you can potentially get like more spellcraft and more blood gems as like a stabilize in the mid game. I think this is probably the biggest change to get from here. So, anyways, hopefully it helps you guys. I'm gonna link to the notes um in the description in case there's something you want to figure out. But let me know if you have any thoughts that you disagree with. If there's something that you think is just like a completely broken change that I didn't hit on. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. Leave a comment if you have something that you want, clarified, or if you caught something that I didn't catch. And then like, subscribe. Like I said, I really appreciate just any feedback that helps, me motivated to put these videos out. So good luck out there. Good luck finishing up the season. Good luck getting on those leaderboards. See ya. Bye.